It was the summer of 1972 when three young men decided to remodel the Grand Blackwood Hotel. For over 30 years, the hotel had been abandoned after its owner suddenly disappeared, leaving the business and his life unfinished. But before they could start fixing up the place, they needed to remove all the debris. And that's when they found the first secret. At first glance, it seemed like a great project for these three friends who had experience with such renovations. However, there was something peculiar about this door. It wasn't marked on any of the blueprints and appeared to lead nowhere. The only way to know what was behind that door was to open it. And as the door creaked open, revealing a spiral staircase, they felt a chill run down their spines. They stood frozen, unsure if they should speak or move. The silence was deafening, broken only by the ticking of an antique clock on the mantelpiece. The woman didn't stir. She looked so lifelike. Her hair was pulled back in an elaborate style, revealing delicate features framed by a high-collared nightgown. He wanted to ask questions, to reach out and touch her, but hesitated, unsure how to break the spell that had fallen upon them. The lace at her wrists and neck added a touch of elegance to the ensemble. Her movements were fluid, her posture elegant, as though she had never known hardship or weariness. The three friends couldn't respond at first. They were stunned by her beauty, her demeanor, and the mystery that clung to her like a second skin. The woman tilted her head, her brow furrowing slightly, and replied, "This is my room. Intrude? I don't understand." Her gaze flickered with confusion, as though she sensed something amiss. It was as if she had stepped out from a bygone era, leaving all of modern life's burdens at the door. The woman listened intently, her eyes wide with wonder as if she were hearing these things for the first time. After a moment, she turned back to the friends, her expression brightening. They had expected answers, perhaps even fear, but found only confusion and a sense of disquiet. With hesitant steps, they retraced their path, leaving the woman to her enigmatic existence. "Well, it was lovely to meet you all, but I must get back to my book now. Please, do not disturb me again." At the bottom, they found another button that opened the door to the mysterious room. But as they stepped inside, they were met with a sight that made their blood run cold. And in the fireplace, they discovered a diary detailing her life in the hotel with Samuel. The entries spoke of their love for each other and the bustling life of the hotel. But as the entries progressed, they took a darker turn. They scoured historical records, searching for any mention of Eliza or Samuel Blackwood. They wanted to know what had happened to them and why the room had been sealed away. Samuel became increasingly distant, and Eliza started hearing strange noises in the walls, whispers in the dead of night. Then abruptly, the entries stopped. Some spoke of strange lights and sounds echoing from the abandoned hotel at night, while others claimed to have seen a ghostly figure standing at the window. And with a final smile, she returned to her chair by the fire, picked up her book, and began reading as if they had never been there. They interviewed the elderly residents of the town, seeking any information they might have about the hotel's history. As the town's oldest resident, she believed the rumors of a curse, claiming it had driven the Blackwoods to their demise. One woman, however, stood out. Mrs. Hawthorne, who had been a child during the hotel's heyday, shared her memories of Samuel and Eliza Blackwood. It was as if the woman had vanished into thin air. Samuel, once a jovial, charismatic man, became increasingly withdrawn and erratic, lashing out at guests and isolating himself in his room. And an overturned chair suggested someone had been there just moments before. It was as if the room was being occupied. Curious, they cautiously approached the door and pressed their ears against it. The humming continued, a gentle lullaby that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Eliza, heartbroken and frightened, sought solace in the company of others, eventually moving into the room where the friends had found the diary and the letter. Was this the sound they had heard in the diary? But despite their efforts, nothing happened. Day after day, the room remained empty, the humming silent. Was it a clue to the room's mystery? Or was it simply the echo of a long-forgotten tune? They had uncovered bits and pieces of the puzzle, but the central mystery remained unsolved. What had happened to Eliza and Samuel? And what was the truth behind the forgotten room? Each night they returned to the hotel, hoping to catch another glimpse of the mysterious woman or uncover more clues to the room's enigma. The friends were baffled. How was the door opening by itself? Was someone closing it every night? The mystery deepened, becoming an enigma that defied logic and reason. They packed away their equipment, leaving the hotel to its secrets. But each night the room was sealed, the door impenetrable. Yet the air was thick with her presence, as if she were watching them, waiting for them to leave. With a mixture of apprehension and determination, they pressed the hidden button, bracing themselves for whatever secrets the room might reveal. The forgotten room remained a mystery, a silent testament to a love story cut short and a life frozen in time. They never forgot the enigmatic woman, the hidden room, or the lullaby that echoed through the halls of the old Blackwood Hotel. The room appeared unchanged, yet different. It was as if the very air had shifted. The bed was neatly made, the furniture dusted, and a single rocking chair sat by the fireplace. When they were done, a thoughtful expression crossed her face, which was further enhanced by the gentle light of the oil lamp. Finally, they found the lead, a wedding announcement from July 1884, the same date mentioned in the letter. It detailed the marriage of Miss Eliza Ashworth to Mr. Samuel Blackwood. In the attic, they found an old trunk filled with women's clothing, including a beautiful white wedding dress. And what had happened to her and Samuel? The diary provided some insight, hinting at a tumultuous relationship and strange occurrences in the hotel, but it offered no clear answers. The sight of the dress sent a shiver down their spines. Could this be the same woman they had seen in the room? As the first rays of sunshine peeked through the grimy windows, illuminating the dust-laden air, they uncovered a door. But this discovery, this was something extraordinary. What was she doing here? Once back in the main hall, they realized they couldn't remember how they had entered the room. Panic started to set in. Had it been locked from the outside? Was this room a figment of their imagination? Had they all collectively lost their minds? How could she be alive and yet somehow trapped in this time capsule of a room? Curiosity piqued. They began their descent, each step echoing their apprehension until they reached the bottom where another door awaited them. Their own shock mirrored his as they took in the woman's serene beauty. There was no doorknob, no keyhole, just a smooth surface that seemed to mock their bewilderment. As they inspected the area, one of them noticed a faint draft, suggesting a hidden mechanism. Upon closer inspection, they discovered a small, cleverly concealed button. When pressed, the wall slid inwards, revealing the staircase once again. The sight was both captivating and unsettling, leaving them on the edge of their seats, desperate to understand what they were witnessing. As he did, the woman's head slowly lifted, revealing a pair of eyes that were startlingly blue. They twinkled with amusement, making the friend feel as though he were intruding on a private moment. A faint smile played on her lips, adding to the enigma of her presence. The walls were covered in floral wallpaper. The bed was neatly made and a rocking chair sat beside the fireplace, suggesting an occupant who had just stepped out for a moment. Books lay open on a desk, a quill pen resting on one, as if waiting for its owner to resume writing. An oil lamp hung from the ceiling, casting a warm glow on the plush carpet below. On the table next to the bed, a half-written letter dated July 1884 sat beside an overturned chair, frozen in time. All around them, fine lace curtains were drawn invitingly across the window, creating an intimate atmosphere as if someone were about to enter. This one, crafted from sturdy oak, adorned with intricate carvings that hinted at the mystery within. Sitting in one of the chairs by the fire was a woman in a Victorian nightgown. She appeared to be asleep, her head resting against the back of the chair, a peaceful smile gracing her lips. As one of the friends reached out to knock, the door swung inward, revealing a sight that left them awestruck. Before them lay a fully furnished room seemingly untouched by time. The friends had stumbled upon a time capsule from the 1800s, but there was something else, or someone else, that truly made this discovery unforgettable. At first, the three friends couldn't believe what they were seeing. The friends exchanged nervous glances. They had been exploring the derelict hotel for weeks, uncovering dust-covered relics of its former grandeur. One of the friends, unable to contain his curiosity any longer, ventured closer. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. The friend felt a strange connection to this enigmatic woman, as though there was a story waiting to be told. The others soon noticed the change in their companion and followed his gaze. As they watched, the woman gracefully rose from her chair, gliding across the room with an ethereal lightness that defied the weight of her flowing nightgown. She turned towards them, her smile widening, and in a voice like wind chimes, she said, "Can I help you?" Finally, one of them stammered, We found this room by accident. We didn't mean to intrude." They explained about the old hotel, the renovation plans, and how they had discovered the hidden room. "The hotel," she whispered, as if tasting the word on her tongue. "How long has it been?" "Over 30 years, one of the friends replied, wondering if this woman knew more than she was letting on. "So much has changed then," the woman murmured, more to herself than to them. The friends looked at each other, bewildered by the encounter. As they climbed the stairs, the sound of their footsteps echoed in the sudden silence. When they returned to the door, they found it sealed shut, devoid of any visible entry. With a mix of apprehension and morbid curiosity, they descended into the darkness, hoping to find an explanation for the room they had just visited. The room was empty. The bed was unmade, the chair was overturned, and the fire had died down to embers. In the corner, they found the half-written letter addressed to a Samuel, expressing Eliza's longing for him. As they explored further, they uncovered more clues to the mystery. As days turned into weeks, the friends grew obsessed with uncovering the truth behind the forgotten room and its enigmatic inhabitant. Their investigation led them to the local library, where they pored over yearbooks, marriage records, and newspaper clippings. But their search yielded more questions than answers. Who was Eliza Ashworth? Why had she chosen to live in the isolated Blackwood Hotel? As the friends delved deeper, they uncovered rumors of a curse on the Blackwood family, a malevolent force that had driven them to madness or worse. Determined to separate fact from fiction, the friends continued their investigation. According to Mrs. Hawthorne, Samuel and Eliza had been deeply in love, but their happiness was short-lived. Mrs. Hawthorne also spoke of strange happenings at the hotel, whispering voices, objects moving on their own, and a growing sense of unease among the staff. With their investigation reaching a standstill, the friends decided to return to the hotel. Back in the present day, they stood before the sealed entrance to the room, its darkness a gaping void in the dusty building. The friends ventured inside, their flashlights cutting through the gloom. As they explored, they noticed subtle differences. A book lay open on the desk, a half-finished letter rested on the table. Then they heard it, a soft humming coming from the hallway outside. The friends exchanged nervous glances. With a shared look of understanding, they decided to investigate further. And every morning, as the sun peeked through the grimy windows, they found the door open, revealing the untouched room and the lingering scent of lavender. Determined to find an explanation, they set up a camera to monitor the room day and night. As the weeks passed, the friends' interest in the forgotten room waned. But the enigma of the forgotten room lingered in their thoughts, a haunting melody that refused to fade. And sometimes, when the wind whispered through the trees, they thought they heard her humming softly, calling out to them from a time long past.